Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into my poster presentation on my research study. My name is Matt Capozzo. I am a high school phys ed teacher for the last 10 years, so my interest for this study stems from my career here. I decided to conduct this research on technology use in physical education settings, specifically trying to figure out if it will help increase motivation and participation. Um, the problem that we've been seeing in physical education has been that the participation has been lower and lower over the years. And it could be for a variety of reasons, but we even are noticing it among the athletes, so students who like to be physically active. Some of the reasons that I've noticed on my own is that maybe it is not as important to them as some of their other classes, or maybe that it just doesn't relate to them. They're not interested in physical activity or a specific unit that we might be doing in the gym, or even that it's not cool or popular to try and exert energy during physical education, at least in the high school setting. So the rationale for the study, the reason why I wanted to do this, the whole purpose of physical education is to get kids moving, to make sure that they are active and give them the skills and the tools that they can lead a happy and productive movement lifestyle, outdoors, doing things, exercising, staying in good shape for the rest of their lives. But unfortunately, a lot of physical education has changed, and I know over the years it used to be kind of the roll out the ball type teachers, but we've progressed a lot into actually teaching and talking about movements and concepts and future in mind when we're thinking of those things. So I wanted to focus on this to see how can we improve the interest in physical education again? How can we improve that motivation to be active? So it remains a challenge to see students moving, but the purpose is to see what we can change. Now, technology is huge in the classroom. Without technology, it would be very hard to teach anymore in a classroom setting. It works tremendously in a classroom. I don't see why it wouldn't work in the physical education setting as long as it's used appropriately. So the population of students that I used for this study is I randomly selected students through participation. I asked them if they wanted to participate in the study, and then out of the sample that participated, it ended up being 19 high school age students, grades 9 through 12. The classes are mixed. It's co-ed situation. It is a private school where they wear uniforms to school, so part of phys ed is changing out of their uniform and into a physical education uniform. So part of class is changing, so time is sometimes a problem. Um, there were the obstacles as well as with the population I have is that every class is seen every other day. So some weeks is 3 days a week, some weeks are 2 days a week, and then there's special schedules that are thrown in all the time. So did the best I could in the window here to get the study done, but definitely would be more beneficial if the population was bigger. So before going into the study, some of the literature that I reviewed really helped me kind of narrow down what I wanted to focus on here. So some of the technology I used were pedometers, using Chromebooks to make videos and find videos to help with their movements, as well as using music. So in my literature, I found some articles where Froberg and Raustar found that when students can see their progress, so looking at a pedometer and actively quantifying their progress, it motivated them to work harder, to give more effort, as well as when they can actually have a goal in mind or try to beat themselves or compete with others, it's easier for them to feel motivated when they can see the results right there in front of them. Another article I found that was talking about making videos and using video creation really talked about the points of giving the students ownership over their learning, letting them be in control and deciding how they're going to, find ways to create these movements or teach other people the movements by using these video creation apps. And lastly, The third article that I noted here, Barney and Pruzak found that the presence of music increased movement significantly just by playing the music. So not only is it going to be effective to help people moving, but when they get involved in being able to choose the music and give them some autonomy over what they're listening to, and again, like some more control over how their class is running, we see that it helps increase motivation. So the study was based over an 8-week period where it was broken into 2-week phases. So the first phase was taught with no technology during the class as like a baseline to see the motivation, see how people participate, if they're prepared for class. The second week, or the second phase rather, was added with pedometers. The third phase was used with video creation tools, and the fourth phase was used with music applications. During the entire 8-week study, I was taking observations using rubrics to kind of rank the students' motivations and their participation and their preparedness for class, as well as every phase the students were given an attitudinal survey using Likert scales so they can report their own feelings of motivation and answer some open-ended questions about what made it more motivating for them, what could make it more motivating for them. Did they feel like they were more interested when using this technology versus the last technology or technology at all? So over that 8-week period, I found that some of the limitations of the study were that the sample size was small. So the school itself is small, which means the classes are somewhat small, and that you only get to see them every other day. So it's tough to kind of get as much data or as accurate data as I would have liked in that small window, where if we could extend that over a full school year through different types of units during the class, not just during a fitness unit, that it would probably give us some better outcomes. Another limitation I found is that the technology was limited. There was only a few things that I was able to get based on, what the school already has and budgets to buy things. Um, so if more technology could be added and different technologies, or maybe give students options to find new technologies to bring into the class, that could also add some to this study here. But overall, the conclusion of the study, I found that technology 100% helps motivation, but how much is determining on what technology it is. So out of the three that I used, pedometers was definitely the winner with creating the most participation and engagement. Um, Without even giving instructions, as soon as I gave them to the students and just taught them how to wear them, they already started competing with each other before we even started moving. They're, you know, talking about how they're going to have more steps than the other person at the end of the period and coming up with, you know, prizes that they can win between themselves. So I think a motivation of, beating other people and competing was a big factor in that phase. We're using the pedometers to get them motivated. The video creation and the music apps definitely helped people moving and motivation, but I think that pedometers were much more effective. Some students enjoyed making their own videos, teaching people how to do certain physical activities or movements, or finding videos on the internet to help teach people how to do those movements. I think they were excited, and a lot of their feedback was that it was fun to be able to kind of control how the class went, but half the class probably was on the other end saying that they would rather be not using a video and they don't want to be on the video. Maybe they're a little embarrassed or not confident to be putting a video of themselves together. And lastly, music apps. All the students love music. The issue with that is there's only one classroom, one gym, only one sound can be playing. So unless we allow students to wear headphones, which our school would not allow and probably would be dangerous if everybody moving around with limited hearing other than what's in their headphones, uh, the students wanted to choose their own music or certain genres of music. So if a different student chose it and they weren't loving that music, they were less motivated to move. When it was a song that they enjoyed, they were more likely to move. So overall, I think that technology definitely helps improve engagement, motivation. Living in a modern world where these students are attached to technology all day long, it would be silly of us as educators to not use it when they know how to use it better than we do, most likely. So I think overall, the findings are that definitely need technology to help improve physical education, but I think in future studies would be great to help add different technologies or find new ways to implement those technologies into the classrooms.